everyone. We have a game with the black pieces against Shekel, rated 1455. He opens up with this Hillbilly Attack, even at the higher rating of 1455. So now his bishop has to move, and we can play a simple game where we develop. He creates a little hold for the bishop, requiring more turns. So we get to bring another piece in the game. He now goes here, so we don't have this square for our bishop. But we still have the f5 square, so we develop another piece and prepare to close our pawn chain. He opens his bishop, but that's not a threat. So we simply consolidate a bishop outside the pawn chain. We're ready to get the dark square bishop out and have a great position. He develops the knight with no threats. He can try to hunt the bishop. We don't mind the trade. You could create space for the bishop as well and prohibit this square from both of his pieces. Not a bad move. Let's throw it in. We already have more pieces out than him, so we have more than enough time to do stuff like this. And it's more concrete. Now, like, for example, if you look at this a3 move, it does give his bishop a square, but I wasn't attacking him with pawns yet. Knight to the side, it was still fine. Whereas he actually has the threat of trapping my bishop, right? So mine is at least more concrete. His is more vague. So anyway, he castles, and now we can continue developing. Bishop to the most natural square. And we just have a great position. Our minor pieces are out. And if you're black and you don't have any problems developing, then you're fine. You're at least equal, and you could play. So he x-rays our king with the rook. That's our sign. Let's just castle, and now we can continue with the position from here. And white has a passive setup. He now hunts the bishop, but we preemptively created this square for it, so no problem. The move plays itself, and now his knight is off sides unless it's part of a different plan from here. So he leaves the knight there, which is x-rayed by my queen. Keep that in mind. And he just develops. I wonder if I can utilize this x-ray somehow by sacking my knight. Just to get in a trade, but somehow with a better position. So if I sack my knight and like if I go here, he could take with the queen. Yeah, there's no good sacks. So let's do something more normal. a6. Controlling the square, preparing b5, b4. Queen f3, taking away all squares from his knight. So potential to trap it. Also pressuring my position a little bit, but walking into knight jump, so that's bad. Immediately this knight jump has to at the very least be a good move, messing up his structure big time. Do we have better? If we try to win the knight, I guess he would have to try to pin the pawn, but these squares are covered. So if he can't pin the pawn and he can't move the knight, he has to sack. Well, even if he sacks the bishop and you take, the knight's still trapped. So that's interesting. So knight d4 looks really good, but g5 might just win a piece. And therefore the game. So let's do that. You can always go king h8. That's not, your king's not in danger. It's important to know this knight's protected, otherwise that wouldn't have been good. And we still have this move. If he threw it in first, he would have moved his queen somewhere, opening up a square for the knight. So I could always throw it in afterwards, assuming it's still there. And we've gone through this chess chunk many times. Because they played the rook pawn, when you take the bishop, they have to mess up their structure, and that's never good for them. We've seen it in many different contexts now. We've seen it on the king side, the queen side, from white, from black. Um, when it's totally irrelevant, like in this position, or like in the Jobava London when, you know, his king is castled here, and it's even worse for them. We've seen it time and time again, what happens when you trade like that. And now he's noticing his knight doesn't have any squares. You shouldn't really put your queen here. It looks kind of aggressive, but only in some openings and in some specific lines do you actually put it here. Because usually that's the best square for your knight, and usually your opponent's just not going to let you attack them, you know, so freely. So maybe get your bishop in the game before your queen. Is he going to resign though? You see, normally what white wants to do is take both of these pawns and sack a piece, a minor piece, for the two pawns, and open my king a little bit and say, okay, I got a little something for it. But here, you can't sack the knight. You can only sack the bishop. That only wins one pawn, and you still lose the knight, so we're terrible. So he moves the knight here, which covers that square. But we take the free piece. Okay, he develops his bishop, supported by the knight, and goes for a trade. We are up material, so trades can't be bad for us. Also, if he takes with the knight, we're going to hit the queen again. So if he takes with the queen, he's now threatening a bunch of dark square stuff. I mean, we don't have to do any of that. Let's not bring his pieces closer to us. We can kick the bishop. Then the bishop takes. Wait, why didn't the bishop just take last turn? Our rook would have been hit. We could have moved our rook. He could have pinned us. Yeah, he had some play, but he didn't go for it. He went for this. Takes, queen takes. I'm up 3 points of material. I don't care if I lose these pawns. But I still don't have to do it. Like, what if I hit his queen this way? Now that this square is not available. His queen can't go here, which is nice. It's kind of stuck, so it has to go here, or he has to take. But let's just say he moves his queen, which is probably the worst of the two. Well, then I could even... Yeah, let's improve this piece, get it closer to my king, where all my weaknesses are, because I messed up my structure. If he wants to trade, fine, but I'm going to trade it for this c6 knight on the queen side, as opposed to my king's knight or my bishop. Queen's knight is always the most expendable piece. Okay, so he does trade, but now we have defense and offense. He could kick us, but we got rid of his dark square bishop, which was creating some threats. So instead of just kicking us, he protects his pawn this way, which, you know, makes less sense. We could just shift our king over now. We could also move our knight. I don't like moving our knight because it lets the queen in. So let's just calmly move our king. That way we can get the rook here. Okay, he hits our bishop now, which is fine. We just bring it back. I think instead of d6, let's go to c7. That way we can create a checkmating battery that he has to address. Normally you put a piece there, but you can't because of the pawn, which is super annoying. So he moves his knight here, which doesn't threaten anything but potential trades. I can go here and threaten to win the piece. It's not going to be checkmate, but it'll be bad for him. Our knight would be hanging there. So here, I mean, we could just move the knight. We can get rid of the queen first. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get rid of the queen. This looks super strong. Because he can't go here, here, or here. So let's throw in a free improving move. We always have rook over and queen up. The knight's just defending the light squares. Okay, so it goes here. But now, this also hits here. Okay, his queen's not pressuring our knight anymore. So let's create this knight threat and check threat. Then we can bring our rook over. I'm getting in all the free moves so we can advance our position as much as possible to try to gain slowly gain the lead. I mean, we're up a piece, so we have the lead. We're winning, but so he moves his knight out of harm's way, but it also removes the escape square. So check here. Oh, we also have coordination, so that's checkmate. An option we didn't have when the bishop was not here. Actually, it's cooler to take with the bishop, so let's give this checkmate. Okay. That was a fun game. So we get a Caro Kann on the board, a Hillbilly Attack. We've had it a couple times. Generally, the lower rated you are, the more you're going to get this. And now we have a pawn in the center and easy development. So development in center, development and center, development and center, center and development, anti-development. I like to use that phrase because prophylaxis means stopping your opponent's plans, but their plans aren't always development. Like maybe it's a pawn move or a king shuffle or something. But I'm specifically trying to reduce his potential maximum piece activity. If white wants to be as active as possible, he can use the square for his pieces, but now he can't. So his maximum possible activity is, something different, something worse, less squares. He can control less squares in my territory now. So it's an improving move for free. Lots of ideas behind it. Development in center. King safety. Development. Engine says we're already almost a pawn better just positionally, which makes sense. We have better development and a better center. Force move. Now the knight is misplaced. And now a waiting move. That's anti-development. Protects our bishop so we don't have to waste time going bishop b8. Also prepares b5, b4, so it's part of a plan. It does a bunch of stuff and it's part of our plan. Now this isn't the minority attack that you're used to because of the way he played his pawns, but it's still an effective plan to open the b files and the c files for your rooks. And then he immediately blunders, so from minus 1.3, black is a lot better, to completely winning -4 because the knight's trapped. So we do trap the knight. Best move. And then we take the knight. And yeah, he could have just taken this pawn. I don't know why he didn't. It's -3.2, so totally crushing. But let's say he did. Right? I'm assuming we move our rook because why not? Okay. It's not even one of the moves. Not even in the top 5. They say who cares? Which makes a lot of sense because if he takes your rook, he's guaranteed to lose the game. Right, let's say it's his turn. He takes the rook. You take with the bishop. Now your king is totally safe on these diagonals. You're up material. You have so much. Your minor pieces are so good and strong that he's definitely going to lose. So they're saying you don't even need to move it. You can do anything. Of course, moving it is still completely winning, but yeah, that's pretty funny. So bishop here takes, bishop back, and he has nothing. He develops the knight. He can never check you. That's so annoying for him that he can never get to the g-file with his queen. Okay, that's good to know. So instead of taking the pawn, he offers the trade. But I just improve a piece with further threats. I'm sure you could take too, though. You could take, you can move the bishop. King g7 is even the best. Protecting your weakness because his queen can't come. That makes sense. You could even castle by hand if you do that. That's interesting. It's a little too much. I like just bringing another piece into the game and forcing trades. So -5, force move. Just king safety and development. Force move. Improving move for free. Improving move, developing move for free. And this is mate in 2. He should have moved back, but either way, it's completely devastating. 97% accuracy with 14 cent pawn loss. So pretty good game by us, and nothing crazy. We just got our pieces out. We played these little bunny ear moves, and then we just made threats and added pressure until he collapsed. Put his pieces on the wrong squares. So hopefully this helps you, you know, what type of development you're looking for from the black side, how to handle white's weird moves, and how to take advantage of them at the 14 or 1500 level. Good luck in your chess, and goodbye.